In the vast expanse of the cosmos, there are moments of breathtaking beauty that capture the imagination and inspire wonder. One such moment occurred when an astrophotographer trained their lens towards the Orion Nebula and captured an image that resembled towering pillars stretching towards the heavens. This stunning photograph, which people have started to call the real-life heaven, not only showcases the beauty of the cosmos, but also serves as a poignant reminder of the awe-inspiring mysteries that lie beyond our world. The Orion Nebula is one of the brightest and most recognizable nebulae in the night sky. It is a stellar nursery, where new stars are born from the vast clouds of gas and dust that permeate the region. Within this cosmic crucible, the interplay of gravity and radiation gives rise to the formation of massive stars, illuminating the surrounding gas clouds and creating stunning visual displays. In the image captured by the astrophotographer, the mysterious pillars stand as towering monuments to the creative forces of the universe. Upon sharing the photograph to social media, it quickly garnered attention from astronomers and amateur stargazers alike. Speculation ran rampant as to the nature and origin of the mysterious pillar, with theories ranging from exotic cosmic phenomena to the handiwork of extraterrestrial civilizations. Some suggested that it was a dense cloud of gas and dust, sculpted by the intense radiation of nearby stars, while others proposed more esoteric explanations involving wormholes and interstellar travel. As discussions continued to swirl, skeptics put forward their theories, suggesting that the object is likely a camera glitch that just so happens to be in the shape of these strange pillars. The image was widely perceived by a multitude of viewers as a representation of an earthly paradise, evoking feelings of awe and admiration for its beauty and tranquility. Upon initial inspection, the singular photograph currently provides minimal details, leaving much to speculation. However, observers note that the true significance of the mysterious pillar perhaps transcends its outward appearance. Its inherent charm lies not in the tangible information it offers, but in the profound sense of amazement and reverence it evokes in those fortunate enough to glimpse it. This unassuming image serves as a wellspring of inspiration, igniting a sense of curiosity and admiration in all who come across it. The towering structure, reminiscent of the age-old monolithic formations scattered across our planet, serves as a profound symbol of the vastness and magnificence of the cosmos, silently urging us to delve into its profound mysteries and unravel its concealed truths. Oddly enough, one individual photographed a massive cylinder-shaped object, which they said was captured in a photograph near the Orion Nebula. The story begins with an amateur astronomer scanning the night sky with a telescope in search of celestial phenomena. As the astronomer trained their lens towards the Orion Nebula, an iconic stellar nursery located in the constellation of Orion, they noticed an anomalous object protruding from the cosmic haze. Oddly enough, this isn't the first time that this object has been detected in the Orion Nebula, and because of this, people have put forward some interesting theories in order to explain what it is. The object appeared to be a colossal cylinder, stretching across the vast expanse of space with no apparent explanation for its presence. The astronomer, astonished by the sight, quickly captured a photograph of the mysterious cylinder before it vanished from view. The image, shared with the wider astronomical community, sparked intrigue and speculation among researchers, scientists, and enthusiasts alike, who eagerly sought to unravel the secrets of this cosmic mystery. As news of the discovery spread, numerous theories emerged to explain the origin and nature of the mysterious cylinder near the Orion Nebula. Some suggested that it could be a natural phenomenon, such as a cosmic dust cloud or interstellar debris, shaped by the forces of gravity and stellar winds over millions of years. Others proposed more exotic explanations, speculating that the cylinder could be an artificial structure of extraterrestrial origin, an alien megastructure or space station perhaps, built by advanced civilizations for purposes unknown. The object's symmetrical shape and anomalous appearance fueled speculation about its artificial nature, leading to wild theories about alien contact and cosmic engineering. As curiosity surrounding the mysterious cylinder grew, researchers interested in the unknown tried to gather additional data to shed light on its nature and origin. Despite the abundance of speculation and scientific inquiry, the true nature of the mysterious cylinder near the Orion Nebula remains elusive. The limitations of current technology and the vast distances involved make it difficult to gather conclusive evidence or reach definitive conclusions about the object's origin and purpose. One user suggested that it was a cylinder-shaped UFO, claiming that these have been witnessed on Earth countless times. It's not very often that something that's sighted on Earth closely resembles something in space, and it's for this reason that some users believe that they could be the same thing. Cylinder-shaped UFO sightings have been reported by individuals around the world, spanning different cultures, geographic locations, and time periods. Witnesses describe encountering cylindrical objects, hovering silently in the sky, moving gracefully through the air, or even descending to the ground before abruptly disappearing from sight. Accounts of cylinder-shaped UFOs often describe them as elongated, cigar-like objects, with smooth, metallic surfaces and no visible means of propulsion or conventional aerodynamic features. Witnesses report feeling a sense of awe and unease upon encountering these mysterious craft, prompting questions about their origin and purpose. While skeptics may dismiss UFO sightings as misidentifications of natural phenomena or conventional aircraft, scientific analysis of cylinder-shaped UFOs suggests that some sightings defy easy explanation. Researchers have analyzed photographs, videos, and radar data of cylinder-shaped UFOs, seeking to discern patterns or anomalies that may shed light on their nature and behavior. Some researchers speculate that cylinder-shaped UFOs could be advanced spacecraft piloted by extraterrestrial beings or remotely operated drones sent from other planets or dimensions. Others propose more unconventional explanations, such as interdimensional travel or time manipulation, to account for the seemingly impossible maneuvers and properties observed in some UFO sightings. The proliferation of cylinder-shaped UFO sightings has led to a wealth of speculation and theories about their origin and purpose. Some researchers believe that these objects may be reconnaissance craft sent by extraterrestrial civilizations to monitor Earth and study human civilization. Others suggest that cylinder-shaped UFOs could be part of a covert government or military program, testing experimental aircraft or surveillance technology.
Michio Kaku predicts alien contact. Michio Kaku has gained a reputation as a renowned physicist and futurist. Having written numerous books on scientific topics, gained popularity as a presenter, and achieved recognition as the co-founder of string field theory, he is well regarded as an authority in the field of science. Michio made headlines when he claimed that humans would encounter alien life forms within this century. Michio stated, "I think we will pick up a signal from an intelligent civilization in outer space in this century. However, that doesn't mean we'll have a two-way conversation. They could be many hundreds of light years away, so it would take hundreds of years for a conversation to take place. But when that takes place, when we do eavesdrop on an intelligent civilization in outer space, that could be a turning point in the history of civilization on Earth." He claims that life throughout the Milky Way is inevitable, adding that when we look out into the night sky, we must realize that someone could be looking back, also wondering if other life forms may exist in our solar system. Michio also claims that we won't just find any signs of life, but also intelligent life. Our galaxy is potentially packed with billions of Earth-like planets that could host a variety of different life forms. Although the actual number of exoplanets far exceeds the 4,000 that have already been recorded and verified, the number of Earth-like planets in our galaxy is estimated to be around 6 billion. Michio explains that when we do encounter life on other planets, we would first need to determine what category of species they are, breaking them down into 3 types: Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3 civilizations. A Type 1 civilization would be roughly 100 years more advanced than our current state on Earth. A Type 2 civilization would be stellar and would be a few thousand years ahead of us. A Type 3 civilization would be over 100,000 years more advanced, be able to control black holes and roam space at will. Kaku highlights the dangers we face when encountering other life forms, as we are Type 0. After intercepting otherworldly messages, he claims we would need to identify the type of civilization they are and the threat they pose. Though Michio thinks that for the most part they will leave us be, as there's no need to plunder our planet for resources, but they will no doubt be curious. The exoplanet Toi1221B. Out of all the space mysteries that haunt our minds, perhaps one of the biggest revolves around a single question. Are we truly alone in this seemingly endless black void? That thought alone might evoke scary images of aliens and potential space warfare. However, scientists have yet to discover those classic big-headed and big-eyed aliens. What they have found instead is their everlasting search for life beyond Earth are several planets that could fundamentally change how we view atmospheric composition and planetary formation. One of those planets, or should we say exoplanets, is called planet Toi1221B, existing at just 90 light-years away. It orbits around a red dwarf star and is about 3.5 times the size of Earth. In comparison to what we know in our solar system, it has a similar gaseous climate to that of Neptune. As noted by scientists, it is one of the coolest and comparatively small planets known to date. Exoplanets are large bodies extending beyond our solar system that orbit other stars. In general, they mostly exist in a small region of our Milky Way galaxy in the thousands and rising. As the technologies of space exploration only get more advanced and ambitious, we could see the number of exoplanets increase to the tens of thousands within a decade. Although we cannot exactly go jump ship and live on planet Toi1231B due to its small size, its Neptune-sized existence offers a fantastic opportunity for scientists to capture one of the first barcode-type readings of its atmosphere. Perhaps those readings will help us to locate similar worlds. The core of massive dying galaxies already formed 1.5 billion years after the Big Bang. Galaxies can be considered alive, dead, or quenching. Alive galaxies possess current star formation activity, indicating that stars are still being created. Dead galaxies, on the other hand, possess no star formation activity. Quenching galaxies exist somewhere in the middle, but they do not have very much star formation going on. Researchers determine the life level of galaxies by using the spectrum of brightness. Recently, a team of researchers in the Cosmic Dawn Center at the National Observatory of Japan and the Niels Bohr Institute found a distant faded galaxy that seems to have ended life 1.5 billion years ago, 1 billion years earlier than previous studies and measurements indicated. This massive galaxy houses more than 1 trillion stars and is the most distant of its kind to be discovered. However, the research team found that the core of the galaxy seemed to be fully formed only 1.5 billion years after the Big Bang. Masayuki Tanaka, a co-author of the paper and an associate professor of astronomical science at the Graduate University for Advanced Studies and Japan's National Astronomical Observatory, said, "The previous measurement of this kind was made when the universe was 2.5 billion years old. We pushed the record up to 1.5 billion years and found, to our surprise, that the core was already pretty mature. The goal here is to understand why and how galaxies fade away." Francesco Valentino, a co-author of the paper and an assistant professor at Copenhagen's Cosmic Dawn Center, said, "The suppressed star formation tells you that a galaxy is dying. But that is exactly the kind of galaxy we want to study in detail to understand why quenching occurs." Astronomers postulate that massive galaxies like the one in this study are historically the first to die. Scientists further assert that studying these galaxies will tell us why quenching occurs. Understanding how galaxies form, flourish, quench, and eventually die is crucial to obtaining a fuller picture of how our universe works. Hopefully, as scientists and astrophysicists continue to research these galaxies, we will learn what truly makes them tick. New methods for predicting solar storms. An element of weather that you might not even be aware of actually affects life on Earth much more than people realize. Solar flares are high-energy radiation that erupts from the sun's surface, resulting in space weather that affects satellites orbiting Earth and can even short out electrical power grids. One of the largest solar flares occurred in 1859, decades before there were satellites or electrical grids to affect, but another similarly large explosion could be catastrophic for us now in the 21st century. Needless to say, predicting when these flares might occur is vital in order to prevent or minimize these damages. But how would one go about predicting when a gigantic mass of flaming gas is going to erupt into another solar flare? Luckily, scientists have recently developed a new method for predicting these storms, and it seems to be much more accurate than previous methods. After much work with theoretical mathematical models attempting to understand why solar flares happen and exactly what happens as they burst, scientists were finally able to come up with a physical model using NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory, or the SDO. With the data gathered from the SDO, they were able to create a three-dimensional map of the Sun and its relevant magnetic charges. Although the true causes of solar flares are still a mystery, the flares themselves are an explosion of magnetic energy, so scientists figured that mapping the magnetic zones of the Sun would be the first step in predicting when and where the flares would occur. Since magnetic fields cannot be viewed directly, scientists working on the project developed software that can calculate the fields in 3 dimensions and create a map of the zones. They then look for locations where the magnetic fields reconnect and create instability, which could indicate the start of a flare. Kanya Kasano, one of the lead scientists on the project, spoke to Earth Sky about their model, comparing it to detecting where an avalanche will occur by looking at the amount of snow on a mountain and guessing how large of a collapse will result from a crack at any location. As it currently stands, the program takes several hours to make a single prediction, but has still managed to predict 7 of the 9 most recent solar flares, which were all X-class flares. Additionally, despite only being in the conceptual stages, it correctly estimated the exact location and power of each flare. Although the researchers are hoping to be able to streamline the process in order to quickly provide more accurate predictions, right now the current method is breaking ground as the first reliable method of predicting these huge, potentially damaging solar flares.
NASA has just announced that a huge asteroid will come within just 100,000 miles of Earth, which is twice as close as the Moon. The object is estimated to be over 300 feet in length. The United States Space Agency's Asteroid Watch team said the following: "Astronomers with the International Asteroid Warning Network are using this approach to learn as much as possible about this asteroid in a short time period. It's good practice for planetary defense in the future if a potential asteroid threat were ever discovered." End quote. NASA has a program in place called the Near-Earth Object Observations Program, which is designed to detect, track, and characterize asteroids and comets that come within a certain distance of Earth. The program includes a network of ground-based telescopes and also employs spacecraft to observe and study near-Earth objects. One of the key goals of the Near-Earth Object Observations Program is to identify any objects that may pose a threat of impact to Earth. If an object is detected that has the potential to collide with Earth, NASA will first work to refine the object's orbit to better understand its trajectory and predict where it might impact. NASA will then evaluate potential mitigation strategies, such as deflecting the object off its trajectory or disrupting it using a kinetic impactor. NASA also collaborates with other national and international organizations to detect and track near-Earth objects. For example, the agency works with the European Space Agency to operate the Space Situational Awareness Program, which includes the segment dedicated to monitoring these objects. Overall, NASA's efforts to detect and study near-Earth objects help to protect Earth by providing an advanced warning of potential impacts and informing strategies for mitigating the risk of collision. However, every year, NASA misses various asteroids of all sizes, with one of the most recent ones being in November 2021, when a large asteroid barely missed Earth, with the planetary defense team saying that no one knew it was coming. Although a 300-foot asteroid doesn't sound like much, its impact could be devastating. The effects of a 300-foot asteroid impacting Earth would depend on several factors, such as the composition and speed of the asteroid, as well as the location of impact. However, generally speaking, such an impact could cause significant damage and potentially loss of life. If the asteroid were composed of a relatively dense material like iron, it could have a high kinetic energy upon impact, resulting in an explosion-like effect. This could cause a large crater to form and eject material into the atmosphere, potentially causing wildfires and other forms of damage. If the impact occurred over an ocean, it could cause a tsunami, which could devastate coastal areas. In addition to the immediate effects, an impact of this size could also have longer-term consequences. The material ejected into the atmosphere could block sunlight and cause a cooling effect, potentially leading to crop failures and other disruptions to ecosystems. Furthermore, the impact could release large amounts of dust and debris into the atmosphere, which could remain there for years and affect global climate patterns.
Astronomers describe a rare black widow star system. A new study describes a unique astronomical object called the Black Widow pulsar. The star system, named J06102100, is about 10,000 light-years from Earth. It was discovered in 2003 after scientists noticed periodic pulsing in the area. Scientists decided the system was a pulsar. A pulsar is a collapsed, highly magnetized star that rotates very quickly. They shoot out electromagnetic blasts out of their poles. So, if their pole is facing the Earth, we can see the light in space, but it quickly goes away as the star spins. For example, J06102100 flickers every 3.8 milliseconds as it turns around. The object was named after the black widow spider that famously eats other spiders of a smaller size. The Black Widow pulsar is made up of two stars, one larger and one smaller. The larger of the two is slowly devouring the smaller star by pulling most of the surrounding matter into space. In addition to removing any matter from its vicinity, the larger star hits the smaller star with consistent energy discharges. On J06102100, these pulses have been happening over the last 100 or even thousands of years. These hits of energy push much of the remaining star matter into space. Since the star could devour its smaller counterpart at some point, scientists want to study this system before it goes away. Emma van der Wateren, a doctorate student at the Netherlands Institute for Radio Astronomy, studied the Black Widow pulsar for years and analysed 16 years of data from a radio telescope to discover more about the pulsar. She and her team found some unique and interesting things about this specific star system. First, this system has never shown any changes in timing. It was consistent and steady throughout the past 16 years. Typically, Black Widow pulsars are irregular and temperamental, which is why this finding is so important to astronomers. Second, the star system does not have a radio eclipse, which is found in most other Black Widow pulsars. A radio eclipse happens when radio emissions stop during a specific part of the star's orbit path around each other. Van der Wateren explains, this occurs when the companion star moves close to the front of the pulsar, and all this irradiated material coming off of the companion eclipses the pulse emission from the pulsar. While the radio eclipse is still stumping scientists, the steady timing has a clear and helpful purpose. Van der Wateren says, to detect gravitational waves, you need many very stable pulsars, and unlike earlier Black Widow pulsars that have been discovered, this system is very stable. Scientists believe that if they analyze the consistent energy pulses of the larger star, they might be able to detect gravitational waves, which are uncommon ripples in the fabric of space-time. Gravitational waves, theorized by Albert Einstein, appear when massive universal objects collide. The waves from the collision move through space and time at light speed and warp the fabric of the universe as they ripple past. Pluto has giant ice volcanoes that could hint at the possibility of life. As it turns out, secrets have been hiding on the dwarf planet Pluto's surface all this time. According to astronomers, giant ice volcanoes have recently erupted with icy sludge. This area on Pluto is completely unique compared to what astronomers have seen in our solar system. This new discovery was made possible with NASA's New Horizons spacecraft, which captured photos of Pluto's moons and surface in 2015. These images were used to observe Pluto more closely than before and led to the discovery of two prominent peaks that were thought to be icy volcanoes. This speculation was further proved by clues of erupted ice lava found in the images. While we tend to associate volcano eruptions with hot lava, ice volcanoes or cryovolcanoes erupt with water ice mixed with other substances such as methane or ammonia. For years, astronomers have been searching for evidence of these cryovolcanoes on other solar objects like the dwarf planet Ceres and Saturn's moon Titan. As Pluto has been long suspected of having cryovolcanoes due to it resting on the frigid edge of the solar system's Kuiper belt, these photos provide more evidence for their existence on the dwarf planet. The eruptions of slush are also expected to keep their shape due to the average temperature of Pluto sitting at -387 degrees Fahrenheit. According to the author of the study, Kelsey Singer, the icy material was probably more like the texture of toothpaste when it first erupted out of the ice volcanoes, but due to the extreme temperatures on Pluto, the liquid water quickly formed massive domes found on the region. Due to the lack of impact craters in the area around the cryovolcanoes that are usually seen on Pluto's surface, it is suggested that the ice volcanoes were active about 100 to 200 million years ago, a relatively short time in the grand scheme of things. This recent activity indicates to astronomers that the volcanoes may erupt again just as volcanoes on Earth switched from dormancy to activity. Astronomers know that Pluto once had a subsurface ocean, and the discovery of these ice volcanoes points to the possibility that they may still be present. This possibility of a liquid ocean existing on Pluto increases the once 0% possibility of existing life on Pluto to a slim chance. As Singer points out, there are still a lot of challenges for any organisms trying to survive there. They would still need some source of continual nutrients, and if the volcanism is episodic and thus the heat and water availability is variable, that is sometimes tough for organisms as well. Despite the challenges, this slim chance has been a giant leap in the knowledge of what we previously believed about Pluto. AI system detects strange signals of unknown origin. As our technology continues to evolve, so has the search for alien life, as scientists based at the University of Toronto have begun to employ the help of AI in the quest to find alternate life. An international research team has been conducting a search for extraterrestrial life in a more streamlined manner than we have seen before. Up until now, we have seen lots of work by astronomers being conducted via SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. This work, which has been ongoing for upwards of a century, with dedicated international research since the 1980s, has used an array of radio telescopes in order to detect what is known as a technosignature. This field of study involves the monitoring of electromagnetic radiation for signs, signals, and other similar indicators that there may be life out there on other planets. Despite this research being conducted from well-considered and ideally located facilities, there is a common issue presented in the human interaction. Often disturbances can be picked up from phones, television stations, and other challenging factors. And whilst these techniques are still employed, new techniques are being introduced too. In recent years, this research has taken a grand leap forward, as researchers based at the University of Toronto have begun to implement the use of artificial intelligence in this same vein of study to limit those same human-introduced issues. An algorithm has been designed to organize the data gathered from these telescopes, dividing the data into distinct categories, allowing for a differentiation between what is a real, genuine signal and what is interference. This process has been introduced to the AI through a method called machine learning. This is the system by which the computer system begins to develop its own intelligence. It's a complicated and arguably controversial process by which AI computer systems begin to learn how to effectively think and behave independently, in a way somewhat comparable to humans. In this context, machine learning will enable the researchers to pore through the relevant information with much greater ease, and with far quicker efficiency. This should make spotting patterns in such large data sets far simpler. Peter Ma, an undergraduate mathematics and physics student at the University of Toronto and first author of a research paper detailing this published in the Nature Astronomy academic journal, commented on the presence of interference in their observations.
He explained that the difference is being able to distinguish between the radio signals from space to the uninteresting radio signals coming from down here on Earth. The team were able to effectively teach the AI to begin to sort and recognize these different signals by simulating the different varieties, showing the difference between signals that may be extraterrestrial and those that are deemed more likely to be human-generated. Prior to running these simulations, work had to go into selecting the machine learning algorithms, drawing comparisons between the precision, the statistical production of false positive rates, and then using these factors to select the aspects resulting in the most appropriate algorithm, which was eventually created by Ma. As it turns out, this new algorithm resulted in the discovery of 8 radio signals that have been deemed potential transmissions from extraterrestrial intelligence. Further analysis has seen they were sourced from 5 different stars, ranging between 30 and 90 light-years away. What is most exciting, though, is that this same data has been studied before, without the use of AI, and these signals were not discovered at all. While it is certainly a possibility that these signals could be sources sent from extraterrestrial life and they follow the anticipated format, this doesn't automatically mean that that is what is being observed. James Webb Telescope captures countless galaxies in new image. The images provided by the James Webb Telescope are truly phenomenal, providing glimpses and perspectives deemed unimaginable, with resolutions that are truly impressive. To us, these pictures are beautiful. For the experts, there is so much more contained within them. The lucky image selected as Image of the Month showcases a number of galaxies, with the spiral galaxy with the catchy name LEDA 2046648 being visible on the bottom left-hand side. This galaxy is more than 1 billion light-years away from us, and for those who are particularly well-versed in looking out for these feats, you can see this galaxy within the Hercules constellation. We have only just been able to lay our eyes upon this photo ourselves. It has been in the works for months. Webb has been on duty taking observations and measurements, obtaining images of exoplanets and galaxies for a few months now. During the commissioning process for the near-infrared imager and slitless spectrograph, known as NIRISS, one of many components of the Webb Space Telescope, we saw this photo come about. NIRISS was investigating a white dwarf star, while the near-infrared camera captured this stunning shot of LEDA 2046648 and its distant pals in the sky. One of the initial aims for the James Webb Space Telescope is to investigate what is going on within the distant universe. This image of LEDA 2046648 is not an example of deep field imagery, though this is one avenue that has provided a great deal of similar shots. Deep field imagery is one aspect of the Webb Telescope that lets us see the oldest light sources, a process that works via gravitational lensing, looking at how distant lights can become magnified and warped. It's truly amazing to see such a gorgeous photo, and even more amazing to know that there is so much more in it that we are yet to see. 4 planets spin around star 130 light-years away. Recently, experts have put together a time-lapse capturing the observations taken over the span of 12 years and condensing them into just 5 seconds. This is the first time that a star extrasolar planetary system has ever been directly imaged. The short animation shows the movements of 4 planets orbiting their star 130 light-years away from Earth, and was compiled via data sourced through the Keck Observatory, located in Hawaii. This is not an opportunity for new research advancements. It's hoped that the video will prompt inspiration and excitement, letting people wonder at the field as a whole. There is so much out there beyond our world. Being able to unravel some of the mysteries and discover some answers to the universe is truly exciting. Whether it's revolutionary findings or wonderful new perspectives, it will be fascinating to see what will be uncovered next. Scientists discover 5 billion light-years away galaxy. Most things in space are unimaginably far from Earth, as the cosmos is expanding infinitely every minute, after all. But seeing beyond a certain distance becomes challenging due to the limitations of our current technology for viewing space.
Recently, scientists were able to uncover a galaxy lurking an astonishingly 5 billion light-years away by employing a newly developed high-tech radio telescope. The team who made this fascinating discovery was associated with Australia's Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organisation and used the Radio Emission Australian Square Kilometre Array Pathfinder, or ASCAP telescope, in the Murchison Radio Astronomy Observatory. This location is unique because of the so-called radio quietness, meaning there are less radio waves penetrating the space, making it easier to identify faraway cosmic objects that are sources of radio emissions. James Allison said that, at many observatories, this dip would have been hidden by background radio noise, but our site is so radio quiet it stood out clearly. The team was able to use the unique technologies of the telescope to detect the signature frequencies of the radio waves emanating from the galaxy as they passed through hydrogen gas. The changes in the emissions caused dips in the measured signal due to the slight absorption of radio waves by the surrounding hydrogen gas, and these dips are what allowed the researchers to measure the distance of their astonishing 5 billion year journey to Earth. This astonishing result was brought about by technology that has allowed scientists to see significantly farther into space than they have ever been able to before, which will provide crucial information about the nature of bodies occupying the infinite cosmos around us. Researchers hope that the technology provided by the ASCAP telescope will be able to be utilized to view galaxies up to twice as far as this newly discovered galaxy. Being able to look back 10 billion years is of a special interest to researchers because this was the time when the universe was undergoing peak star formation. The rate of this process, which is fueled by hydrogen gas, has mysteriously decreased in the past millennia, and researchers are anxious to discover why. The galaxy is several billion years younger than our own Milky Way, but still appears to have a magnetic field that is of a comparable configuration and strength to the field around our own galaxy. Brian Gainsler of the University of Toronto said that this means that the magnetism is generated very early in a galaxy's life by natural processes, and thus that almost every heavenly body is magnetic. The implication is that we need to understand magnetism to understand the universe. Observing galaxies at varying distances from Earth, such as this one, will allow astronomers to create a picture of how the universe came to be. Universe is a false vacuum. There are a few ways that physicists have toyed with when it comes to theorizing about the destruction of the universe, and they generally have ominous names: the Big Rip, the Heat Death, and the Big Crunch. One particularly interesting hypothetical destruction is vacuum decay. Before diving into understanding vacuum decay, we need to backtrack and talk about Higgs field. Higgs field is a field of energy that permeates our universe. Similar to an electric field, Higgs field varies in strength. The power of Higgs field in any particular area is dependent on its potential. Another part of this operation is Higgs boson. Higgs boson is the foundational particle connected with Higgs field. It was proposed by Peter Higgs, Francois Eglert, and 4 other theorists in 1964, and confirmed in 2012, resulting in a Nobel Prize for the scientists. The potential of Higgs field tells us whether the universe is in a state of true vacuum or false vacuum. A vacuum is a space entirely lacking in matter. It is also the stable lowest energy state. Currently, the universe is in a false vacuum state called metastable. It's not actively decaying, but it is also not completely stable. 2 glaring issues to consider when living in a metastable universe are that a high enough energy event can in theory take a small region of the universe from the false vacuum into the true vacuum. This would create a domino effect of a true vacuum that would expand in all directions at the speed of light. Such an event would be lethal. The second issue is that the tiny particle can create a passage through a boundary between one region and another. This could include tunneling through to the vacuum state. So, a universe in a metastable false vacuum has the potential to suddenly be partly in a true vacuum state, which would be detrimental.
The possibility of vacuum decay has been weighing on the mind of researchers recently because the measurements of Higgs boson seem to indicate that the vacuum is now metastable. This might seem like a reason to feel alarmed and move into a state of existential dread. However, the life of a metastable universe is predicted to be substantially longer than the life of the current universe. But what do you make of these recent discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.